everybody. Welcome to Maine. Welcome back to Maine. 2 weeks ago, we were out on the boat with the Big Green Eggs YouTube channel. Today, we are taking what we sustainably harvested right off the coast of Maine, and we are going to prepare it in 3 very different ways. I think everybody who has ever been to Maine, and most people who haven't, are familiar with 2 very common ways that we prepare lobster. One, steamed. This is how we do it here in Maine. Caught this morning, these lobsters that you see right here literally came out of the water this morning. We just steamed them up, and there is nothing better than fresh, delicious, sustainable lobster steamed right here on the coast of Maine. As we're doing this live stream today, you're probably going to hear lobster boats in the background out on the water actually catching live lobster. Before we get into everything, I just want to introduce myself and what we're doing here today. My name is Kurt Brown. I am a lobsterman and also a marine biologist at Ready Seafood Company. Ready Seafood is a live lobster distribution company and also a value-added lobster distribution company as well. We are the only lobster company in the world that distributes both live and value-added products all around the world. So you can take lobsters right here from the coast of Maine and we can get them right over to Portland or over to Shanghai or everywhere in between. So we do a little bit of everything, and what we're really excited to share with you today is some new takes on lobster recipes. I think, like I said before, everyone is familiar with steamed lobster. It is fresh, it is delicious, but there's so much more we can do with lobster than just steamed or even lobster rolls. You come to Maine during the summertime and this is what you're looking for. By the end of this live stream today, we're hoping that you're going to be looking for a whole lot more, either when you come to Maine or you want Maine to be delivered right to you. So we're going to go through a number of different recipes today. We're going to fly right through them. We've got all the prep done. So this is the easy part right here. Before we get started, just wanted to say a quick thank you to the Big Green Egg team and Big Green Egg Nation. This is really exciting for us to be a part of. You go on and look at everything that is done on the Big Green Egg, and it's a really amazing community across the country and across the world. And our goal here today, right now, is to introduce that community to everything we do lobster and show you that lobster doesn't have to be scary. Seafood doesn't have to be scary. It is simple, it is quick, and it is amazingly delicious if you're doing it right. And trust me, if I'm doing it, it's hard to do it wrong. So before we get started, like I said, these were live lobsters caught this morning. These are your traditional lobster rolls. This is what people think of when they think of lobster. Our goal is to change that impression and show you all the different ways that you can prepare lobster like it's never been done before. We're going to do 3 different lobster dishes today, and then in a few weeks, we're going to do a whole nother live stream right here and show you some more ways that we do lobster. Today, we're going to focus on first some cedar planked split lobster tails drizzled with honey butter and a little fresh dill from our garden. Then we're going to move on. We're going to get some hot oil on the egg here, and we're going to do some deep fried lobster empanadas. These are absolutely incredible, and the way we can do lobster empanadas is because at Ready Seafood we produce something called cold cracked raw lobster meat. It is a unique product that results from a piece of equipment that we have that enables us to produce raw lobster meat, and that's what you see right here. Because it's raw, you can cook it the same way you would steak or chicken or a fillet of fish or scallops, and it's a really unique way to start with lobster. So we have raw lobster in these empanadas. It will cook up with the dough, and it will be absolutely incredible. You're going to want to try these, and then once we finish up with the empanadas, we're going to move on and do a completely new take on the Maine lobster roll. We're not doing Maine style. We're not doing Connecticut style. My wife, believe it or not, is actually from Connecticut, so it pains me to say that the lobster roll was actually invented in Connecticut. But what we're going to do today is a fried lobster roll. So again, we're going to take our cold cracked raw lobster meat, We got some bathing in an egg wash right now. We're gonna batter it, we're gonna fry it, and we are gonna make fried lobster rolls, which is something I'm sure you've never seen before, but you're gonna wanna try after we finish these up today. Absolutely incredible, and again, super, super simple. So without further ado, we're gonna move on from our traditional lobster and move into a whole new world of lobster on the Big Green Egg. So what we have here are your standard lobster tails. You can get these just about anywhere. We produce a whole ton of them every single day. So these are freshly caught Maine lobster tails right here. And all we are going to do today is place them on these beautiful cedar planks from the Big Green Egg right here. After we split them right down the middle, and that lets the tender lobster meat rest right on top of those planks as we hit them with some light heat. So all you do to split a lobster tail, it's very, very simple. Take a sharp knife, start at this end right here, and go right down the center. And just a little muscle, and you're through that tender meat. And what you have is a beautiful, beautiful white tender meat that goes perfect with any number of different dishes. So there's one. We'll do two lobster tails right now. Crunch, crunch. And they open up beautifully just like that. Little lemon never hurt anybody when it comes to lobster. I love lemon when it comes to lobster. These two pair perfectly. So we're going to drizzle that meat with a little bit of lemon. Just like that. And then we are going to flip those tails right over and rest them on the cedar plank. Just like that. And that's how they're going to go on the egg right there. Before they go on the egg, we did a little bit of prep work. And what we have already on there are some lobster tails that are heating up slowly on the egg itself. As you can see, they were split in the same way. We did a few slices of lemon on top. And all it takes to cook these up is about 350, 375 for about 10 minutes on the grill. Pretty simple. You go from here on the cedar plank raw to here to done in under 15 minutes. So we're going to take these off right now because they are just about ready. And before we rip them off, we are going to flip them right over. Kind of the final step in the process that I like to do is to give them a little honey butter bath. This is a real nice little twist. So you flip them over, and I wish you could smell the aroma coming off of these planks because it is truly amazing. So here we have our melted honey butter, as you can see. So that's just butter, and we're fortunate enough to have some neighbors who have some bees, and they give us some fresh local honey, and you just mix those two together, heat it up, and just drizzle this right on top, just like that. You hear that little sizzle? So that goes just like that. Then all we do to top off these tails is just hit them with a little fresh dill from the garden. Sprinkle a little of that on top. Let it land right on that tender white lobster meat. And look at that. Lobster tails are about as simple as it gets and about as delicious as it gets. And you can get creative with your butter, with your lemon, with your seasonings. The options are endless, but the common thread is the fact that this is a delicious summer treat that you can enjoy in your own backyard anytime. There's nothing to be scared of when it comes to lobster tails. So let's get these right off the grill right now. Let them cool down for a second and then we're going to enjoy them. Just want to be careful when you're taking these planks off the grill. They get pretty hot, as you can see. Just like that. We'll rest these right here for now. And these two. Nothing better. So we'll enjoy those in a few minutes. But without further ado, what we're going to do right now is bring out the hot oil. Normally we would heat this up right on the egg, but for time's sake this morning, we have oil that is heated up to about 365 degrees right here. This is peanut oil. I love to deep fry in peanut oil. It just gives it a really unique, amazing flavor. This is going to go right on the egg to stay warm. And what we're going to do next in our repertoire is show you how we make our lobster empanadas with cold cracked raw lobster meat. The reason we do it with raw lobster is because we don't want to take lobster that's already been cooked, like these tails right here or the meat you saw in the lobster roll, and put it in this empanada dough, because then you would be double cooking it. And that just makes the lobster meat a little tough. It works and it's fine, but it's not ideal. You want to take lobster meat from raw, just like this, and let that cook up inside that dough with some of this delicious cheese and seasonings as well. So what we're going to do today, for time's sake, is take some Goya empanada doughs, just like this right here. This makes it a lot easier. And all you do is take this dough and fill it with whatever you want. I mean, you can do anything other than lobster too, but lobster is ultimately the ultimate lobster empanada. That's a mouthful right there. We've done this in the past by making our own dough, and if you're ever interested in making your own empanada dough, don't hesitate to reach out to us at Ready Seafood. We can give you the recipe. You don't need to deep fry empanadas either. We've done it in the past where we've made our dough from scratch, filled them and baked them in the oven. All kinds of different ways you can do it, and we're happy to share. But for time's sake, and to show how easy and amazing this can be, we're just going to use this right here right now, and all we're going to do is take some of this shredded smoked Gruyere cheese. And this is key. This is really important. Whether you're making lobster mac and cheese or lobster empanadas, smoked Gruyere cheese is an amazing pair for lobster meat. It's incredible. Nothing's better. I know we're making empanadas. It's a Spanish dish. We're using French cheese. That's probably sacrilegious, but you know what? We're in Maine. We're not really good at following the rules all that well. So we're going to throw some of this smoked Gruyere cheese right on here as a base. Just like that. And this just shows you how simple this is. And then we have some of our cold cracked raw lobster meat right here that was seasoned and ready to go with some big green egg sweet and smoky seasoning. And then you just throw a few pieces of that raw lobster meat on, just like that. We chopped it up so it fits in there really nicely, just like that. And then you fold the dough over. Before we fold it over, you know what? Why don't we throw a little more cheese on there? A little cheese never hurt anybody, right? You fold it right over, just like that. Then you want to take your fork and just make it look pretty by folding it down, pressing it just like that. And there you go. That's all you need right there. These are ready to roll. And the beauty of these empanadas is a lot of people are scared of lobster just because they're unsure of how to cook it. I'm hoping we cure people of that today. A lot of other people are scared of lobster because they think it's very expensive. And it can be, but when you're making a dish like this, this is an awesome way to stretch out lobster meat and make it into a meal for a lot of people without using a lot of lobster. This right here is a half a pound of our cold cracked raw lobster meat right here. We've already made 5 empanadas out of one of those 8-ounce packs right there. So it gives you a sense of how far you can stretch this out and make lobster as a way to feed everybody at your next gathering. So all we're going to do right now is take these empanada doughs. You can see the oil is nice and hot. And we're just going to throw them right in and let them start sizzling. So we'll let those go for another minute or two and flip them over. And as those are cooking, I just want to re-emphasize that if you didn't see while we were out in the boat a couple weeks ago, go back and check that out. It's really important for everybody outside of Maine to understand how we harvest lobsters. This is a wild caught fishery that we have here in Maine. The only way you can legally harvest a lobster is with a trap. I have my own boat and about 500 traps, and there's about 4 or 5,000 other licensed lobster harvesters, men and women, young and old, up and down the coast. We have a very unique fishery that's very traditional, and you can really feel good about buying and enjoying lobster because you know it's coming from a sustainable fishery. It's a beautiful place to visit if you ever get the chance to come on up here and see and enjoy all the lobster that you possibly can. That's our goal when everybody comes up to visit us, is to send them home back as sick of lobster as possible. But being able to do lobster at home on the grill is something that people definitely shouldn't be afraid of and should look forward to because it's so doable. And the Big Green Egg offers you so many different opportunities to enjoy lobster in so many different ways. Because you can control that temperature, you can go low and slow for a long period of time if you want to do real low and slow lobster tails. Or you can go super hot, use our raw lobster meat on top of a pizza and put it on top of a pizza stone and enjoy a nice lobster pizza in under 10 minutes. And that's really the utility of this piece of equipment right here. And that's why we really love using the Big Green Egg for everything we cook. Let's take a look at these right here. Looks like they're starting to plump up. Oh yeah, you can see the bubble on the other side there. That's how you know it's time to flip them right there. They're getting hot. And this oil, like I said, is right around 365 degrees. The dogs are getting pretty excited about these, as you can hear. Look at that, it's really heating up now. So these are almost ready. We're going to give these another couple minutes in this hot oil, but as they're heating up, we'll just close that lid and keep that temperature going. And this is a really fun new way to enjoy lobster. We told you at the outset here that our goal today is to open everyone's eyes to all the different ways you can enjoy lobster. And over the last year, since we started COVID and got in the middle of a pandemic, our goal was really to show people that you can utilize the Big Green Egg and our lobster products to enjoy lobster so many different ways. We've done everything from a lobster surf and turf, where we took a 4-pound flank steak and pinwheeled it with our cold cracked raw lobster meat on the inside, grilled it low and slow, and then it hit it with a nice reverse sear at the end, and it was probably the best surf and turf dish I've ever had. Maybe in our next episode, that'll be the one we can focus on, and we'll show you all how that comes out. But we've done everything, like I said, from surf and turf to lobster empanadas to lobster pizza to lobster fritters, lobster salad. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. One of my favorite things to do with our raw lobster meat that comes out really well while we're waiting for our meals to cook on the egg is to make a lobster ceviche. And you can do that because we're talking about raw lobster meat. We have a recipe for a Peruvian lobster ceviche that comes out absolutely incredible. And the reason you've never heard of lobster ceviche before is because you can't take cooked lobster meat and do a ceviche with it. It just doesn't work. The curing process won't work. That meat has already touched heat. Those proteins have already been denatured. So if you try and cure them in acid, it just won't work. But if you take this right here and throw it in some lime juice and some coconut milk with some other spices and all kinds of good stuff, within 2 hours you have the best ceviche you've ever had in your entire life. So this product right here is really a game changer, not only for us as a company, but for the lobster industry in general. So I hear these bubbling right now. Why don't we come in and check on them and see how they're doing? I think that sizzle is my new favorite sound. Turn them over one more time and see. Oh yeah, those are just about ready. See where the heat is over here. So we'll give those one more minute. Like I said, it takes about 5 minutes for those to be ready. And while those are finishing up, I'm going to explain what we're going to do next. So before we move on to our next one, we've done our tails. Our lobster empanadas are just about done. What we're moving on to now is something that I'm really excited about for any number of different reasons. What we're talking about next is an opportunity for the at-home chef and the chef in a restaurant. We're talking about fried lobster. And again, the reason you've never heard of fried lobster before is the same reason you've never heard of lobster ceviche before. You've never been able to get lobster in its purest form, in its raw form, like our cold cracked raw lobster meat. So we have raw lobster right here waiting in an egg bath. We're going to batter it, and then we're going to deep fry it, and we're actually going to make some deep fried lobster rolls. And again, this is another great way to enjoy lobster, but it's another great way to stretch lobster out as well. So you can take our fried lobster meat and put it in a roll, and you're going to use a heck of a lot less meat than you would in a normal lobster roll, because that batter takes up a lot of the space and adds a lot of flavor. So you can stretch that lobster out a heck of a lot more. So that's what we're doing next. But before we jump into that, let's get these empanadas out of here. We'll put them on top of this paper towel and let them cool off for a minute. You can see those are ready to rock and roll right there. Oh yeah, these look amazing. So while we let those cool down for a minute, right over here, we'll jump back to what we have here. So all we have right here is some of our raw lobster meat. So you can see right here, see how beautiful that is? That protein has never touched heat before. Those proteins haven't been denatured, which allows us to do what we're doing right now. So all we do to make this is throw this right in here, right in that egg wash. All we have in here is about a half a quart of milk and 2 eggs mixed together. We're going to take it out of here and put it in our batter. What we like to use for a batter is a cup of flour, a cup of cornmeal, 1/4 cup of potato starch, 1/4 cup of white rice flour, and a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And then we throw in a little garlic salt and some smoked paprika as well. And then we just take our lobster, throw it right in there, take it right out of here, throw it right in this batter, and get it ready to go in that hot oil. And you can see how beautiful these are going to come out. Look at the size of that claw right there. Isn't that a beautiful thing? So we just mix this right up, cover it with our nice batter. butter. And this is another meal that can be done in under 15 minutes because it took us about 5 minutes to do the empanadas. These ones are ready in well under 2 minutes. 90 seconds really, if your oil is at 365, is all you need to get these going. So as we saw right there, take a look at that. Make sure we cover it. And then all we're gonna do is throw it in that same oil we just used to cook the empanadas. We'll flip those in a minute, but that's all you got right there. While those are sizzling, I just want to show you this right here. So these are our empanadas. We open these up, and all you have is just flaky crust and delicious lobster that's been cooked through, as you can see, and some yummy, melty smoked Gruyere cheese. See that lobster right there? Oh my goodness. Look how amazing that cooked up. This is one of my favorite new dishes right here. Realistically, probably my favorite. But I'm already talking too much because that's how quick this cooks up. The bigger claws here, we're just going to flip those over, let the other side touch the heat. But for the most part, these are ready to go. So we'll move the empanadas over here. Oh, nice little snack. So good. And we'll get the fried lobster. See, that's done. That's how quick that goes. Zoom in right here. Look how beautiful that looks. That's lobster like you've never seen it before. You go to a fry shack and you're going to see fried clams all day long. You're going to see fried shrimp. You're going to see fried scallops. Heck, they're even frying Oreos. They're frying avocados. But you've never seen fried lobster before. That all changes because of this right here. And this is an item you can offer in a restaurant, or this is an item like you just saw that you can cook up in your own backyard in under 10 minutes. And you can eat these with fries, or you can throw them in a roll just like this and have a brand new take on a lobster roll. What we like to do with these is then just take that roll just like that and drizzle it with a little sriracha like that. Little sriracha aioli on top of that, and you have probably the best lobster roll you've had in your entire life. So how's that for 20 minutes? A little lobster tutorial right there. We flew through some lobster tails, some delicious lobster empanadas. We have fried lobster, and hopefully you're starting to see all the opportunities that lobster can present right here at home for you. So with that, we're going to let everybody get back to it. Go ahead and order some lobster. Go out and get some lobster today. It's a beautiful day here in Maine. Hopefully it's a beautiful day where you are too. And we're going to see you in a few more weeks. We're going to do this again, and the focus is going to be on surf and turf. And we're going to put together some amazing ideas for you. But until then, get out, get some lobster, enjoy it. And if you're ever up in Maine this way, stop by and see us. Have a great day, everybody. Over and out. Oh my